Hello everyone, and welcome to Simple Therapist. And in this video, we're going to be going over 3 interventions for anger. Now, these can be done for clients who have been diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, or for clients who just have a hard time managing their emotions. Now, if you guys like this video, feel free to leave a like and comment down below what other interventions that you would recommend. A little bit about myself, I am in fact a social work practitioner who works with children, adolescents, and families who deal with a whole host of psychiatric disorders and are mainly at risk of hospitalization. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, the first activity that we're going to be discussing is called the anger iceberg activity. This one I personally like the most. Now, this is a drawing activity that promotes emotional identification as well as unraveling the underlying feelings that are usually attached to anger. Now, the first thing that you want to do is have the client draw an outline of an iceberg. Then you want them to draw a line representing the ocean, leaving the tip of the iceberg exposed above the water. Now, have your client write the word angry above the iceberg near the tip. Now, there are a few ways that you can go with regard to facilitating this activity, and I would recommend this way. Now, the first thing that I have my clients do are note a few instances in which they've been angry so that they can have concrete examples. Now, let's say in response to that question, the client says, the last time I was upset was when my mom grounded me. And then I would say something along the lines of, well, why? Why did she ground you in your opinion? And let's say they said something along the lines of, because I got home late and I was out past my curfew. So then I would say it definitely feels like you experience anger, no question about it. What else do you think you were feeling? And then initially you might get something along the lines of, I don't know, just anger. This is the classic response to that question. You want to make sure you are asking those follow-up questions to get more out of your client. And then once they take time to truly think and process how they were feeling in that moment, you might get responses like they felt tired, they felt embarrassed, maybe they felt even a little bit ashamed that they were out past their curfew when they know they're not supposed to. So make sure you are asking those follow-up questions in order to guide them to those potential secondary feelings and emotions that they are experiencing beneath the surface. Now, once they have identified a few emotions, a few underlying emotions that they were experiencing at that time, have them write it down in the bulk of the iceberg. Now, repeat that process until you have a solid list of emotions that were attached to that experience or several more experiences. Then recap the purpose of the therapeutic intervention. Be sure to highlight how anger never operates alone and that there are always attached underlying emotions that contribute to that feeling that we're experiencing, and that's anger. Those additional emotions always tell a bigger picture. All right, so the second activity that we're going to cover is called the anger thermometer. Now, this is a therapeutic intervention that helps us understand the root cause of our anger, as well as understanding how our anger progresses over time. So first, you want to either have your client draw out a thermometer with 3 points or print out a simple thermometer picture. An example of that will be listed in the description below. First, you want to have your client assign different colors that represent the different levels of anger severity. Then have them draw the different sections of the thermometer with those corresponding colors. Next, have them brainstorm the different triggers that get them irritated in the first place. For example, one of my clients mentioned that they get triggered by the tone of their mother's voice sometimes, or when their friend brags about winning a round in a video game. A lot of great conversations can come from these responses. So have your client write down their triggers at the bottom of the page and then have arrows pointing to the bottom of the thermometer in order to indicate that this is the beginning of the chain reaction. Now, you're going to go through each section of the thermometer, whether it's at 25%, the 50% marker, 75% marker, and then at the top 100% max anger. Now, what I do with my clients is that I provide them with a list of emotional vocabulary words to help them brainstorm a comprehensive list of emotions. Now, have them write down those words onto the thermometer at the section that makes the most sense to them. So for example, my client had put down irritated at 25%, moody at 50%, on edge or hostile at 75%, and uncontrollable at 100%. If you want to introduce the family during or at the completion of the intervention, feel free to do so. There you can have your client sort of walk through some of their triggers and have a dialogue with the rest of the family. And through there, you would hope that either the parent or the family is able to provide some sort of positive acknowledgement that the client is able to express these emotions in a responsible fashion. You can also go the other route as well and have constructive dialogue regarding some of clients' responses. The last intervention that we're going to be covering today is called the Where Do I Feel activity. Now, this is a therapeutic art intervention that encourages individuals to explore the connection between experienced emotions and bodily sensations associated with them. Now, this one is better suited for the younger kiddos, but adolescents and even adults could benefit from this intervention as well. So first, you want your client to assign different colors to the different emotions that are assigned on the paper. If you would like the one that I use, it's very accessible. I can put that in the description below. But some good emotions to have on there include sadness, happiness, fear, anger, and love. For the sake of this video, we're just going to be focusing on the anger portion of the activity. Now, prompting is very important when it comes to this activity. So you want to start by prompting them with a few questions. Now, in order to get the brain flowing, you want to ask questions like, think about a time that you were angry. What were some things that you noticed that your body did when you were angry? How did you know you were angry to begin with? And your client may say things like, oh, I felt red, or I wanted to clench my fist. My body was hot. I had a headache. From there, you can have your client color the corresponding parts of the body that they identified with. And those are the 3 that I have for you guys today. Through these activities, your client will start to set up the building blocks of the complexity of emotions that they are experiencing on the inside. If you have any questions or comments, again, please leave them down below, and thank you for watching.